If you're a woman and want to get back with your ex, listen to this video. I'm going to share with you practical ways and actually a very simple and yet very efficient way that make all men react when they decide to end a relationship, when they decide for some reason it's not working. Perhaps you've been struggling lately with dating, and I know how difficult sometimes it is to be on dating apps and finding someone you can rely on. I will explain what you should be doing today to feel better, to make the right decisions for your love life and get him back eventually. Jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So first of all, let's reflect. This breakup is also the opportunity for you to take some time to ask big picture question. Were you in love with him or in love with the relationship? Very often my clients, when I speak with them, they tell me, and I understand between the lines, that the reason they are so attached to the relationship is not because of how their boyfriend or their husband treated them. It's because of the relationship, what it meant for them. And so you have to ask yourself the question, really, what did you get from this relationship? If you had to, for example, design or visualize your ideal relationship, would that be with that person? Did you feel treated the right way by that person? And I know after a breakup, we tend to idealize our partner. We tend to put that man on a pedestal. So I want you to take that step back and really reflect whether you were in love with that person, his behavior, his character, your compatibility, or the relationship. Another very important factor is the length of the relationship. If you've been together for 6 to 9 months, then it's more about infatuation, it's more about passion than love. And very often some men would break up with their partner around that time. When we finally reveal ourselves, they also finally reveal themselves and realize that that's not really for them. Another element as well, which is linked to the first one, is the investment in the relationship. You are watching this video, so you are in the team of people who want to learn, who want to grow, who want to make better decisions when it comes to relationships. What about them? If you're trying to get back with someone, if you're trying to build something, and the person that you have in front of you is in complete denial that they're also responsible for the breakup, because perhaps sometimes it happens after a breakup, when the person we love the most decides to end the relationship, we feel like, I'm responsible, that's my fault. Always remember it's 50-50. And the recovery of a relationship, what I do with my clients, I'm really adamant on this with my clients, is let's assess what this guy is doing. Is he showing the right signs? Are we fighting for the right relationship? Are we betting on the right horse? Of course, if the person decided to end the relationship, we want to cling, we want to rescue the relationship, and there's nothing wrong with fighting to get someone back. But they also have to fight. If you're not sure whether it's the right relationship or not, if you're confused, if everything that I said don't make sense, there's a quiz that takes about 3 minutes to complete. It's totally free, and it gives you an idea of whether you have a chance or not to get back with your ex. Because sometimes people are watching my videos and there's actually objectively no chance. Oh, they shouldn't sort of be obsessed about the idea of getting back with the ex because that's not the right thing for you right now. Have a look. There's a link in the description for you to check. Always remember that in any relationship, there's this push-pull, this dance, this what we call the pursuer-distancer. Very often women, I'm not saying like all women, but maybe 70 to 80% of women are pursuer, they are investing, they want to connect, they want to attach, they are proactive in the relationship, while their partner would be more distant, so they are struggling with emotion, dealing with emotion, they avoid fights, it's very hard for them to build intimacy, and they keep relationship or between friends or family or with their partner very shallow. And so that creates that push-pull dynamic that is, again, typical of any relationship. Obviously, after a breakup, or sometimes the breakup is the outcome of a push-pull that wasn't nurtured and sort of became toxic in the end, what you have to understand is if your partner is a distancer, they need space, they need freedom. Guys, they love to feel that they're in charge. Guys, they love to feel that they control the situation, that they can do things on their own terms. Okay? Obviously, a relationship is about compromise, and sometimes the way they perceive what we would call the power struggle, another way to look at this is power struggle. They'll feel like, oh, my wife is doing anything. My wife is deciding. I don't have any say about the education, about my work, but like she's always complaining. And I feel, and that's why so many guys go play golfing on Sunday morning, it's because they want to escape their wife. They don't want to confront with their wife. They want to be on their own with their own thoughts just because they need to breathe in and out alone. You know, that's their sort of an essential need. And some women don't necessarily get it because they don't understand we are together, we need to spend time together because that's what I love the most is spending time with you. That doesn't mean that when your partner, when your ex goes golfing, he doesn't love you, it's just he needs it. So he needs it, and it's always like this sort of pendulum movement of taking a bit of time, of space, and coming back to what we would call a secure base. Same for you. You need to learn to, once you've connected, once you've been intimate, not necessarily sex, but also in terms of having a deep conversation, having quality time with your partner, there's the element of you feeling that you've got this sort of secure bucket in a way, attention and love bucket that you feel with your partner. You can sort of get back and be on your own a little bit. Understand that you are attracted to him because of this ability to be independent. And they are attracted to you because, in a way, they want someone to tell them, to teach them how to be more emotional. Let me know in the comment section if you feel that's something you can relate to. Because the thing is, and that's why, you will probably be always attracted to people who are distancers. Because that creates a form of passion. That creates a form of challenge. You want to teach them in a way. It's very much unconscious, I admit. But it's the idea of, I can help the person. I have the role of someone to save you. We're not going to talk about inner child in this video, but in a way, in relationship, we tend to act as kids. And so very often, what we are attracted to, what pushes us to start a relationship with someone, the butterflies in our tummies, is because we feel, I can save this person. That reminds me of something that I want to save. And this is why the key to get back with someone, to attract a man, is to create a form of balance. Something that was exciting is push-pull, exciting, passionate at the beginning, but of course over time, if you don't manage it well, that creates an imbalance and people would feel like that's not for me. And the problem is, when you don't know about your fear, when you don't know about this push-pull dynamic, you tend to act emotionally and to let the fear take the lead. The fear of, for example, abandonment, which will lead you to what we would call in attachment theory, some protest behaviors, like texting, spamming, threatening, begging. All of those things would be toxic because, again, we are going against their need for space and freedom. And so what you have to do right now is to understand what we would call working models. So what are working models? So a working model is basically the way you interpret relationship. The way I see relationship is different than the way you see relationship. I used to be avoidant, so the way I used to see relationship is different than the way you're seeing relationship. Any type of situation, I will have my own interpretation and therefore my own behavior, my own reaction, my own actions. You will have another set of emotions, feelings, and action. It's very important for you to understand because one of the main reasons partners don't understand each other is that they feel, how could he do this to me? Because if I was in his shoes, I would never do this like that. Or same way for an avoidant, why is she getting mad at me? Because if she would go on, I don't know, stag do in Ibiza, I wouldn't be upset, I wouldn't care. Yet I love her, but I wouldn't be so dramatic about that. So there's always this element of understanding your working models, trying to understand your partner's working models, and sort of navigate, be versatile with that. So working models, obviously they take, the way it's built, the way we sort of develop them is through childhood and previous relationships. So obviously if you have had like abusive childhood, difficult relationship with your parents, difficult relationship with partners, that will affect the way you see life, the way you see trust in relationship. So see it as kind of a map or a GPS of how you would navigate the dating scene. And that's why sometimes people are struggling, they call me and they tell me, I don't know who to trust, I don't know whether I'm making the right decision, I feel like I'm always ending up with the wrong guys, I'm always being dumped or cheated on, so there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong in terms of how you see the world, how you interpret things, but there's nothing wrong with you, it's just about the interpretation. So, as I discussed before, working model, if I do this, I expect this from my partner based on my different experiences. I'll give you some example. So for example, for someone who is a pursuer, I need to make sure he loves me. That's my default position. As a child, I felt my parents were not around. I felt I needed to get validation from them. And therefore, my default position when I start a relationship or when I leave a relationship or when I'm in a relationship is I'm obsessed about making sure he loves me, and I'll do whatever it takes for that person to love me back. Or I must do everything to keep this relationship. Or I can make them love me if I try hard enough. The idea that I need to be a good girl. Okay, that's very classic. A lot of women, they grew up in this idea of I need to sort of format myself to be a good girl, to listen well, to be polite and so on and so forth. They end up being extremely successful businesswomen, career women, have amazing career. But when it comes to relationship, this I need to be a good girl is not necessarily helpful in terms of relationship. Another one is I will be abandoned if I don't stay vigilant. And people who are pursuers, they are hyper vigilant of those signs. And as you can see, another way to see those working models is looking at them as belief. These can change. These are subjective. These are statements based on judgment of a situation, based on experiences that you had younger. So right now, the idea is I'm not that little girl anymore. I'm not that teenager. I'm not 20 years old anymore. I can decide and I can take that distance on those things. And these are 4 examples. You have your own working models and you need someone to help you reflect and discover those working models. And that's why it's very important for you to understand the answer is within yourself and in the importance of self-discovery. Because once you understand your working models, you can make better decisions. Maybe you're just simply having, as I said, I use the image of working models that are maps or GPS. Maybe just your GPS is not working properly. We need to readjust it. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just tweaking the settings of this GPS. Sometimes we might be feeling, this friend, she's very successful with her husband, but I don't know why. Because you're, smarter, more good looking, funnier, more driven, whatever. But for her, it's easy. So it's not a question of your value. It's simply a question of how you interpret things and how you sometimes act automatically. Are attracted to the wrong people, are ending up in the wrong relationship, are letting you treat it in a certain way by men. And so what you have to do is obviously establish healthy boundaries. Understand that a relationship can also be on your own terms. Because as we discussed before, the internal working models is very much like you, and I will do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, the relationship comes first. I come second. The idea is to work on having or developing a secure attachment. If you want more context on that, have a look in the description. I have a few challenges, and sometimes we launch challenges with people who want to learn how to be more attached. And we've realized that having a cohort of people to work together is an amazing way for you to discover this. The idea here, if you want to get back with your ex, is to understand how you can develop a secure base, and also understand, while doing this, what would be your relationship, your ideal relationship, what's your vision, and assess whether you are in line with that person, whether that person can provide as well. You're in that I'm giving. What are they giving back? Sometimes we are blind to the fact that actually it's not that mutual. Actually, I'm the one investing. And the funny thing is, like, the more we invest, the harder it is to let go, because we've invested so much. It's called the cost fallacy, sunk cost fallacy. The idea that I've invested so much in this relationship that it's harder to let go. But in reality, you've invested so much, and what did you get in return? That's the important question here. Another aspect of building that confidence, building that self-worth. Be assertive. And it's very different than being aggressive. We're aggressive when you act out of fear. We're assertive when we act out of our secure base. When we know our needs, when we know how to communicate our needs, and when we know what we don't want. That's very important, and that's very empowering. Now, if you feel a bit confused or lost or lack of motivation and stuck, never forget this. Women always make the first move. We think that it's usually guys who make the first move, and actually the way it works is usually, for example, in a bar or in a club, of course you think that men would buy a drink and they make the first move, but usually what happens is that there's a non-verbal cue that women would give, eye contact or a smile, to welcome the person, to offer them a drink. So understand that when you're dealing with a guy, you can also, you're the one deciding, you are the one in control. In a way, we are always the chasers with the hunters, right? And you are the prize to win. You need to really understand this, because sometimes we feel like, as I want to rescue, as he dumped me, I'm no worth, and I need to chase. No, you don't need to chase anyone. You are the prize to win. Remember that he fell for you, so there's no reason why he wouldn't fall back in love with you again. The reason he wouldn't is if you don't do that change, if you don't manage to create a balanced push-pull situation. Also understand that by working at being more secure, you raise your expectations. Now there are things you won't accept. There are things that you don't want to compromise on. You'll be aware of your non-negotiables. And by doing that, of course, you're going to be more attractive, because you're going to be more confident, because you're going to show, men, and perhaps your ex, that you want to be treated with respect. And that's attractive. Nobody wants to be with someone who's that strong, right? We don't want to be with... Nobody is attracted by people who are weak, or who are, in a way, people pleaser. That's not attractive. So work on those things. Learn about attachment style. Learn about your working models. Work with a therapist, with myself, with anyone, to really discover this. Because as I said before, the solution is not about him. It's about you. Do this work first, and you'll see everything will make sense. Everything will be easier when it comes to dating, when it comes to getting back with your ex. If you need my help, there's a link in the description to book a discovery call with me, and I'd love to discuss with you more about how we can improve your relationships with your partner or with your ex. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.